BC, we found out that the government made a special sweetheart deal with the manufacturer of Methadose, which is
Mhm.
Mallinckrodt Pharmaceutical, an exclusive exchange, they called it. So the government of British Columbia took all of us methadone users, one big market, and we got way more out here than in Saskatchewan. And they said, here, pharmaceutical company, we'll give you this market, the whole of it. They won't have any other choice. And Mallinckrodt, of course, said, excellent. And of course, we never found out about this deal except for we did freedom of information request and discovered some of the documents. We published this all on various episodes of the Crackdown podcast. Episode 2 is where we really lay out for you the difference, the problem with this switch.
Mhm.
But in Ontario, yeah, they did a different version of this. But what we still found out is that mostly people just didn't know, right? So this information doesn't get out into the system, doesn't get to the doctors or the pharmacists, and especially not to us. So it's like we're just not empowered because we don't have good decisions. And mostly, we don't have places where we come together. We, as methadone users, experience the world of methadone alone or maybe
Mhm.
with one or two friends. So we just don't have any collective power, and our ability to get good information is really compromised. So yeah, they can screw around and offer the sugar-free, but there's just no basis. Like for them to say it'll be different in Saskatchewan because we're offering sugar-free, that's just gaslighting. There's no research. There's no evidentiary basis for that. So if someone tries that out, if you hear that line coming from the government of Saskatchewan or something, be very suspicious. These things aren't equivalent, and we don't have any evidence of that. In fact, even the study that Mallinckrodt Pharmaceutical put forward to say, oh, our stuff is good, our stuff is the same. Well, we
Mhm.
called up, Crackdown called up the author of that study and said, is that what that study really shows? And he's like, no way. No way. I didn't want my
Mhm.
study used for this. Wrong. So there's just zero evidence on their side. All the evidence is on our side. So don't let governments bullshit you.
So when oh, where am I here? So when did you notice, do you think there is a direct correlation between this switch and the overdose crisis?
I mean, yeah, we're arguing a connection in court. We filed in, I think, 2020 a class action lawsuit against the maker of Methadose and also the government agencies and regulatory bodies that were involved in the switch. And we said, yeah, that you basically, it was a contributing factor, right? Like if you have 17,000 people in British Columbia, all of whom were switched over to Methadose, and if Methadose doesn't work, you've all of a sudden made 17,000 people vulnerable to overdose from the illicit black market of drugs when fentanyl was coming in. And we're saying also like we warned them, like we warned the company, the government, we warned everybody. And because we're drug users, they did not listen. And
Mhm.
because we're drug users, other governments won't listen. And even when we hand them all of the research, even when we go and put on the legitimacy of academia and do all of the hard homework of figuring this stuff out in a language that government officials can listen to and understand, they still don't do it because you know what, nobody believes drug users, and that's a big problem because we
Mhm.
still, in BC we're in the 6th year of an officially declared overdose crisis, a public health emergency,
Mhm.
declared as a public health emergency in the same way COVID was. And because they don't listen to us, they're not implementing solutions that we recommend, and so we're just having year after year of record deaths.